I'm here today to discuss a great werewolf movie. So, werewolf films are a little bit hard to come by these days. They have been for quite some time, honestly. We get one every so often. Usually, they're not very good. The special effects are usually not that great. They leave a lot to be desired. They try to do different angles, and it doesn't work out. And I think practical effects moving away from that and going more CG as the years go on, I think aid to that. See the 2008 Wolfman actually was a good film minus the CGI. The CGI destroyed that film. It shouldn't have. It shouldn't have at all. It could have been so great. For lower budget films, it's even harder for a werewolf film to come through and be, I don't know, to connect and make us feel the way The Howling made us feel when we first saw The Howling. Made audiences feel the way they feel or felt when they first saw American Werewolf in London. It's very hard. Now I will say the two Wolf Cop movies are great. They go a comedic route, an over the top route, and it works really well. And I know, like, you look at some classic werewolf films like Silver Bullet. Silver Bullet is a film I think people still knock some of the special effects. I know they say the werewolf looks bearish. I don't really have a problem with that. I think it's a product of the time. It is what it is. Could they have been better? Sure. The movie's great, so it doesn't matter. But in 2014, we got a film that has three titles technically. I found it on streaming in 2016 and it was under the title Late Phases. So it's also called Night of the Wolf and it's also called Night of the Lone Wolf. And Dark Sky Films put this out in 2014, a Blu ray, and I picked it up right after I saw it in 2016. Late Phases, Night of the Lone Wolf, Nick Dimitri, Ethan Embry, and the one, the only, the dearly departed Tom Noonan plays priest Roger Smith in it. Unfortunately, Tom Noonan has passed away. If you saw our video yesterday, we paid tribute to Tom Noonan, an icon in genre film. We love him and everything we've saw him in. Monster Squad fans especially are still reeling from the news of Tom Noonan's passing yesterday, and it's hard to watch. It really is. Or it's hard to kind of deal with the fallout of Tom Noonan passing away. And it's you know, thank God we have so many films of his that are so great. And this is one of them. He plays a smaller role in this. He was getting older. He was 74 when he passed away this year. And it's but this one, if you saw Stakeland, that is a vampire film from 2010, which I also think is a tremendous monster movie. It's a tremendous vampire film that we got, after the heyday of great vampire films, more or less. And this, it's even harder to come by a great werewolf movie. And this one is indeed that. So Nick Dimitri plays a blind war veteran, and he moves into like this kind of like a neighborhood, and he's kind of, he's very independent. Obviously, he's a military veteran. He plays this blind guy who sees that stuff's happening, or can sense that things are happening within this town. And you have his son, Ethan Embry plays his son, and it's really an interesting film. It's a great premise. This is so like 1980s, early 1990s esque feel. It has such a feel of the late 80s, early 90s. In I would have If this would have came out in the 80s, it probably would have been even better. But it came out in 2014, and I think it's tremendous. It's such a great film. Big fan of it. And it has an interesting werewolf look. So, if you haven't seen it, blind your eyes. for a minute. I am gonna show pictures of what the creature looks like, because at first I think it's easy to say, "Hey, this looks kind of like a jackrabbit." It kind of looks like the Donnie Darko bunny, Frank the Rabbit, as it were. But I don't think it looks bad. It's different. It's a different take on the way a werewolf looks, and I like it a lot. It's very creature esque. It's very creature like a they use their imagination. And I don't know if that was because they didn't have a lot of money and they ran out of time or supplies or whatever it was, but it looks great. I think it looks great. And it looks so different from what we've gotten from werewolf films. And I will take something that looks a little bit different and not quite like a traditional werewolf, as opposed to something that fails on every level to connect and feel like a real werewolf. This feels like a real creature, and I'm so thankful for that, because it's what makes this film really, really, really connect. Look at the Wolfman from last year. They played so much on not seeing for the most part. You see it here and there and in small increments, and you see when the dude is changing throughout the film when he gets infected. But they focus on like what is it? What am I hearing? What am I feeling? What am I seeing? It's a great way to go about it, but honestly, they just fail to give us a great creature, a great werewolf. And for this movie to give it to us, uh, it's an accomplishment. Honestly, it's an accomplishment for a lower budget film. It's an accomplishment for the filmmakers, and it's really hard to put into words what it means to me to get a real creature on screen, because I feel like between CGI and lack of creativity, the Wolfman from last year failed on so many facets. I still enjoyed it because I like monster movies. So even though it was a failed monster movie in a lot of aspects, I still liked it. Give me a monster movie, it's like pizza. Even the the terrible Frozen stuff, it's pretty good. Granted, Wolfman was not that great. It was a Tombstone pizza of werewolf films. It was not a New York slice. It was not a New Haven slice. It wasn't Joe's in New York, and it was not Sally's in New Haven. But it was pizza, and pizza is pretty good, even when it's pretty awful. And Wolfman was pretty awful, unfortunately. I wanted it to be good, but this movie really succeeds where a lot of werewolf films just completely fall on their face, and it's a total bummer. Honestly, I it really just it bums me out to like the nth degree. Honestly, there is Adrian Garcia Bogliano. I think that's how you say his last name. He does have a commentary on this Blu-ray. Again, this Blu-ray is pretty easy to find. I like the title "Late Phases" over "Night of the Lone Wolf" and over "Night of the Wolf," which is what it's billed at as on I think IMDb right now. I love the late phases. Just sounds badass. And honestly, they should have stuck with that title. And I would like this would to this for this to be like a trilogy or a franchise. Late Phases 2, Late Phases 3. It just sounds like awesome. Like it would be a great jumping off point to turn this into a franchise. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the case because this is now 12 years old, which is crazy. And I saw it 10 years ago in early 2020 or 2016, and it was just so awesome. And I love the they do. I will give some film critics, as much as I don't like them. I could talk all day and night about film critics that tear down, especially our genre films, or give them just kind of the most irreprehensible reviews that they don't deserve, and then anything that gets a theatrical release gets kneecapped before it can even have a chance to succeed because of these ridiculous reviews and the people that read them and think that they mean anything. Rotten Tomatoes, if you go on Rotten Tomatoes and you take anything said by a critic on there serious, and yes, that's the thing too, is the people love to complain about what they don't like. Very rarely on this channel are you ever going to hear me talk about things I do not like. I will once in a while say I don't like something, explain why, and give reasons why I think it could have been better. a constructive fan criticism, I suppose. What I won't do is promote things I don't like. I won't ever make videos to just hate on stuff, just to hate on stuff for content. I like talking about what I like. I like promoting what I like, not what I hate. And this, I don't hate at all. It is an amazing film. And I love, let's see, Complex. Matt Barone calls star Nick Demichi has the toughness and old school Clint Eastwood. Um, I don't know if I would go that far, but he is awesome. He is awesome in Stakeland. He is awesome in Stakeland 2, and he is awesome in this one. Nick Demichi is super underrated. He is a godsend for horror films because I want him in more. I want him in more horror movies because he knocks it out of the park so hard in Stakeland and in this. And A Howling Good Time is We Got This Covered, Matt Donato. You know what? You guys gave a werewolf film a great review. Hey, I'm here for it. High five. You're an exception to the rule. But I hate that people go out of their way to try to film critics are just awful. They are really awful. And I mean, film critics are very similar to like the way Rolling Stone was. Rolling Stone panned like all the Zeppelin albums. Rolling Stone panned some of the greatest albums that they now have people revering in their magazine. Rolling Stone is like the Grammys. They mean nothing. They really do. They truly mean little to nothing. Is it great when a band like Turnstile gets a Grammy? Of course, they're a DIY hardcore band that started from nothing, got to the point where they're in Taco Bell commercials. Their sound has altered and they're not really hardcore, but their spirit's hardcore. Yes, it's great when those bands get it. Unfortunately, no one's listening to that Turnstile record and being like, "Oh, geez, this is the record of the year." For rock or metal or whatever. One, they don't televise those for anything rock or rock adjacent at all. They don't televise those. They don't care about them. Go back to 2014 or something. Ghost won a Grammy. They brought Ghost in. They had no clue what Ghost looked like, and everyone was shocked. The Grammys, they're baseless awards. Unfortunately, they mean little to nothing. And almost anybody that wins a Grammy, unfortunately, Metallica lost to Jethro Tull for Metal Grammy. That's the end of it. And Motorhead won a Grammy for a cover of a Metallica song. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It never has. Anyway, a lot of award shows are like that. You know, you were never gonna get late phases on any award show besides maybe a horror award show, the Chainsaw Awards or whatever. But even Fangoria is questionable at best now, unfortunately. Um, their controversy, 5-6 years ago aside too. I know they're under new ownership. Regardless, I'm going on tangents. That's what I do. If you'd like this, listen to the pod because we go even deeper and crazier and wilder, and we go stiff on a lot of people. But Late Phases is super, super good. It's a film that you would not expect to have gotten in 2014, and it's not a film I would expect to get now. We're not gonna get a lot of werewolf films from here on out. We're just not, and especially when we get a Wolfman last year. Lee Winnell, bless his heart, he tried. It just faltered on many levels, and it could have been great. Unfortunately, it was not. But I do have faith that it's going to turn around at some point, even if it's just for one film, because I had not seen a werewolf film that I had liked or given the time of day to in the longest time. And then this one came about, and when it did, I was completely blown away, and that doesn't happen. And honestly, this might be the last film I was truly blown away by. I don't know if I've been blown away by anything since then. I really don't. To this level, I think about this movie yearly. I love watching it. When I start talking about horror films with people, obviously all the classics everyone always talks about. We talk about the biggest of the big always. But when someone says, "Oh, I'm looking for a newer horror film," well, it's funny now. It's more than a decade old, but I love telling people about this film because I've shown 2 or 3 people it, and they eat it up, and they do love it when they do give it a chance. If you're looking for a monster movie, if you're not looking for a monster movie, it might not be up your alley. Granted, this, if you're like me, I was was hurting for a movie like that. I wanted a movie like this so bad. To finally get it, it feels great. Stay Clan was kind of the same way. Like, I was waiting for like there was a vampire craze after Twilight in 2008. We were getting like the Let Me In remake, and Let the Right One In was kind of like, it was getting popular. It had been out for a few years, but it was getting popular. We get the Let Me In, the Americanized remake, and but this one coming out in 2010, I don't know if the thought was to cash in on the vampire craze, but regardless, that one is amazing. I would love to talk about that one a little bit more in depth. But as far as werewolf films go, you're not getting a lot of great newer ones. Like I said, the Wolf Cop movies, because they go a comedic route, they're awesome. They're so fun. Those are so fun to watch. This one brings back old school horror, old school terror, and just an old school feel altogether. And I know that's what a lot of us horror fans are always craving for. We're craving that nostalgia that we're just not getting usually. So when we do get it, it is a great, great, great fix for what we want and what we need. And Late Phases, Night of the Lone Wolf, or as it is on IMDb, Night of the Wolf, is awesome. This is so much fun. And hell, Bloody Disgusting. Shout out Bloody Disgusting. A masterpiece of the werewolf genre. So right there, like that's pretty to get that. Like it truly is a masterpiece of the werewolf genre. Couldn't have said it better. Couldn't agree more. Tom Noonan is in it. Unfortunately, Tom Noonan has passed away. Now, if you check out the video we just did, I give a nice little tribute to him, just paying homage to the genre legend he is. And this one is awesome. So if you need a monster movie, if you would like werewolves, if you're a little bit burnt out, it's hard to get burnt out on some of our favorite movies. But if you're sick of rewatching American Werewolf and London, if you're sick of rewatching The Howling, if you're sick of rewatching Silver Bullet, if you're sick of rewatching all the werewolf films that we love, and you're looking for something new, Late Phases, Night of the Lone Wolf, or Night of the Wolf, I think it is the third title. Check it out. It is super, super, super fun, and just has a badass feel to it. And let me know if you do check it out. Let me know what you think. Come back to this video. Let me know. And if you love it and you heard about it from here, let me know that too. I want to know that I'm connecting with you and you're actually listening to some of the things I say, because if you're not, what am I doing this for? It's probably an exercise in narcissism, isn't it? If you put a video camera on yourself and you record yourself talking, or you hit record on anything and record a podcast for the last 9 years like we have done, I guess it's an exercise in narcissism anyway. But unfortunately, or fortunately, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to connect with horror fans and have fun, and have fun to talk about horror films and genre films in general. We're going to have a bunch of different topics coming up: 80s comedies, 80s action, but horror, baby, is our bread and butter. As you can see around me, we got Night of the Demons, we got Night of the Living Dead, we got a Sleepwalkers poster, we got a Scream poster, we got all of it. I like it all. I like a lot of different things. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. I'm happy that you're checking this video. I'm happy that you're on board. We're at Instagram at Heart Guide Media on Instagram. Yeah, let me know you're listening. Have fun. Give us a like, a subscribe. That would be the greatest thing. Hit a like and subscribe. All I got to do is pop up, and then you see videos you like, click on them. Preferably watch them all, because that'll help me, that'll help you, and we'll have some fun. But yeah, Heart Guide Media, big fan of werewolves. We are a big fan of werewolf films. We are. Check it out.